Welcome back to Henry Happenings, folks. We're in Belfast, Ireland. We're at the Titanic experience, and it was awesome. You can see Chris standing outside the experience. Now we're getting ready to enter.
We're at a Titanic experience today.
Just a few minutes, we'll be inside.
This is the entryway into the sea. All the experiences going on with the Titanic, where she was built in Belfast, Ireland. The 19th century, linen was the top product in Belfast and the capital of the world for making linen. As you can see, it's quite crowded in here today. Processed linen was made from flax seeds, harvested flax, and fibers to the linen yarn, brown and white linen. It's the Thompson Graving Dock where the Titanic was built. It started in 1903 and was completed in 1911. The dry dock was the largest in the world and was completed for primary use for ship repairs.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
This is the salary of each employee that was signed in these books. Thomas Andrews' salary was $125 per year.
This is the ride inside the Titanic experience. It was about a 4-minute ride. So sit back and relax, enjoy the next 4 minutes or so of the Titanic experience and what it was like during that time period.
I came in here the day after my 14th birthday, Harland and Wolff. That's where you worked in Belfast. My dad got me my start, then my brothers after me. You could hear the noise from where we lived, but nothing prepared you for the size of the place. I was there from the beginning. I watched the shipwrights lay the keel blocks. They set big wooden blocks on the slipway to start with, then the keel at top of it, like a backbone, and the frames attached to that, like a skeleton. Workshops everywhere. It took weeks to find your way around. There'd be workshops for every trade you ever heard of. Painters, sailmakers, coppersmiths, boiler makers, cabinet makers. I even learned a bit about French polishing of them. Harland was a fine place to work, but dangerous.
Every ship cost a life, and there'd be lots of injuries besides.
I was in the engine works for a while. Very well equipped it was. That's where we built the triple expansion engines. 2 of them, each as high as a 3-story house.
I worked in the frame bending shop. You had heat steel beams in the furnace, then hook them onto slabs of cast iron and hammer them curved. It was skilled work. You had to bend them more than you needed because the frame straightened out a little when it cooled.
The shell plates that made up the hull weighed up to 4.5 tons. They were taller than the da.
The plates were overlapped on the edges. Some were raised, one after another. We called it clincher. One of the foremen taught me years ago, that's how you built steel ships.
I worked as a heater boy. You had to heat the rivets on a wee plate. You pumped the bellows till the rivet was white hot. Then you get a hold of it with your tongs and throw it up to the catcher. And he put it in the hole in the plate with the holder up. There were 2 of us on the other side of the plate with the holder up. We had to hammer the rivet so it filled the hole before it turned dull red. The double bottom. That's a wee space we called the tanks, made up of steel plates. The rest of the rivet squad all had to fit into that gap. One of the 4 men would check each rivet with a special hammer. If it made a ringing sound, we'd have to go back and chase it out after work. I'd get scared working down in that double bottom. You only had candles for light. And the constant hammering against the shell plates. You could hear it all over Belfast. Some of those boys ended up stone deaf, so they did. We were paid 31 bob a week. The heater boy and catcher got 16 bob. But we all worked the same 54 hours.
The upper deck was steel too, and part of the strength of the ship. There's no straight lines in a ship, and when you look down the weather deck, you can see the sheer of her hull, but stopped her flexing at sea.
The stern frame had to be strong enough to take the rudder turning in heavy seas. We'd have all these timbers and guy wires to steady the frame, and men scurrying around like ants underneath. When we came to launch day, I was torn between pride and fear. The standing ways were coated in tallow, train oil and soft soap. So the ship would slide when they shifted her weight off the blocks. That was the most dangerous part. When the shipwrights were knocking away the last props. They were under compression, you see, and the sliding ways would be released by the hydraulic trigger. 100,000 people watched the launch. Some paid a bob to sit in the reserved seating. There were extra trams laid on. Then we all went off to the pub to wish her well.
Doc, you were proud to be an island man that day. And Titanic was the pride of Belfast.
Thank you for joining us. The tour will end in a few seconds. Please exit the car carefully and make sure you don't leave any personal possessions behind. When the car has stopped, push the lap bar down and lift up to exit safely. And mind your step as you leave the car. We look forward to seeing you again.
This is the actual area where the Titanic was built. It's a replica of a first-class stateroom aboard the Titanic. This is a POV of the Titanic inside, what it would look like during that time period. As you can see, you go through deck by deck of the floor plans and also what it would look like during that time period. This is actual life jacket that was recovered from the Titanic. This deck chair was recovered floating around the Titanic where she sank. This is the violin of Wallace Hartley, which was recovered where the Titanic sank. This is the area outside the Titanic Experience where the actual railway was built for the Titanic to sit on while she was being built. And as you can see, it's a large amount of area that was taking place. And it took several years for the Titanic to be built on this location.
And the ramps on each side. This is the slipway where the Titanic went into the water. It took 62 seconds to launch it. Crown Liquor Saloon, established in 1826. That's where we're having dinner tonight. There's Chris. Yes.
Chris got the steak and ale pie, which was awesome. I got the stew, which was made with lamb, and it was really good also. And of course, we got sticky toffee pudding with a custard for dessert. The Channings were with us on this trip, and God bless them for having us, and I appreciate them. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Henry Happenings. See you later.